Hi everyone. I just wanted to send another update video to give you some final updates here before you guys really get into testing, and to show you some of the stuff that I've done since the last meeting that we had. First thing you'll notice right off the bat is we have a new header and footer on the page here. So we've replaced the blank one with an actual header now, and I'll go into Jake's actually finished the framework, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. But now we actually have a semblance of a site wrapping around here, so that already just looks a lot better to me. All right, first let's go into some of the sponsor and the hotel options that I've added. So we'll look at some sponsors here. Okay, first in the general information tab, you'll see that I've added a sponsor cell phone option, and we've also got a contact preference option right here. So if we edit information here, we can change all that stuff right here. So the cell phone comes right here, and then the contact preference right here, you can pick which one of these, how you want to contact them or how they want to be contacted in the future. And I built the same exact options for hotels. So there's an option for hotels now, in addition to an option for do not call for hotels in case they don't want to be contacted for courtesy calls. All right, so that's the first one. Let me go over to the hotels now and show you this. All right, so in the hotels now, like I said, we've got the additional phone numbers and the contact preference right here. We also have the current stand PDF. So this is how you'll indicate whatever their current stand is. And to change it, you just click Change Current Stand. And what this does is it gives you a list of all the different hotel files that are uploaded. So you'll see we've got two of them right here. If I look down at the file list, same two files right there. So the way this will work is you'll upload the PDF of the stand into the file part right here just by clicking Add New File. And then to change it, you just click Change Current Stand and then select the one you want. So if I wanted to change it to this one, I would just click the check mark and then we change it right over here. And you'll see here, if we go here again, it's checked. All right, so there's that. Let's take a look at some of the item stuff that I changed here. And this was to mostly deal with the inventory issues. Now, we didn't go for a full-featured inventory system, but what I have here with the item manager should be good enough to at least start with. You'll see here we've got a beginning inventory and a current inventory on all items that you've added in here. The way the beginning inventory works is you add however many you had of these originally. And if you had 500, you enter that in. You do not change that when you add items to people. It will automatically keep track of itself. Also, if you were to get 500 more of these, you wouldn't change that. You wouldn't leave that alone. You would add 500 to that price or to that total. So you'd have 1,000 total. And then it will base all that off of how many items you've assigned to people. So that's the basic way it's going to keep count. I think we should try this for a little while and see if that'll work. But if it comes to be untenable, then we can talk about doing a full-featured inventory system. But this should at least give you some idea of how your inventory looks, how many items you have, how many you had, that kind of stuff. To change these, you just edit the item, and you'll see right here the inventory total. That's the new field right here. And I did write brief instructions on how to actually do this and how to manipulate this. Okay, and the way the current inventory works is it's going to cycle through and see how many of this particular item has been assigned to a hotel, either through a contract or through workflows or anything like that, and then subtract it from the overall number. So this will give you a rough count of how many you have left. All right. Going back to the home page, you'll notice another thing. I removed the big list of workflows that are on the left. I did keep the count so you can quickly see, how many you have assigned, and then you can obviously still view your workflow report and get the full information right there. But that'll make your home page a lot cleaner. All right. One of the major things, probably the most major thing I did over the last week, was rework the way the agreements work. After talking to you guys and looking at the different ways they were used, I realized that basically the way that I had them initially was not going to work in all our circumstances. And there may have been a way to get them to work, but I figured it would just be better to start over and use some of that code and make it work the way that it's really supposed to. So now if you go to Agreement Manager, I have them split apart, basically so that you can create hotel agreements without having a sponsor and create a sponsor agreement without having hotels. And also so you only have to create one sponsor agreement and not 20 of them for each hotel or something like that. So they work pretty much exactly the same. We'll just look at the hotel agreements first. It lists off the date of the agreement, the hotel, who their sponsor is, and if they don't have a sponsor, it'll show up like that, no sponsor. It will list which contract they are tied to, and again, if they don't not tied to one, it will say no contract right there. And it will give you the status. And right now, there's basically two statuses. There is pending status and there's finalized. So obviously, they mean pretty much the same. Finalized ones you can't edit, but you can unlock to go back and edit later. And ones that are pending, you can still edit anytime you want to. So I'm just going to add a new one here just to show you how easy this is. You click Add Agreement. So you have two choices when you add agreement. You can either pick a hotel that's already in the database, and again, this works by searching, so you can type in like Super 8 up here, and it will pull up any Super 8s that are right there. Or if it's not in the database yet, you haven't added it to your database, you can search for it here. So we'll just do this. So you can search for it, say search, and Google, it's actually going to use Google, and it's going to search through and find anything that's close to what you searched for. So I searched for Super 8 Michigan. It gave me a good list of ones that are here. If I wanted to use base off of these, I would just click Use Hotel, and that's going to do two things. That's going to add the hotel to the database for me, and it is going to start the agreement process for me. So just for example, let's use the one in Ionia. We'll say Use Hotel. Now you'll see we've got Super 8 Ionia, Michigan up in here. That's the hotel. We've got the agreement date already, and we have no sponsor because we just added this one, so there's no way to tie a sponsor to it yet. For general information, this is very much pared down. I decided that since we were asking for all the same information between the agreements and for the hotels, it's better just to store it in one spot. So we're going to store it all in the hotel record. So that's where you'll add things like the breakfast hours and the check-in and check-out times, and if they have Wi-Fi, if they have a pool, all that kind of stuff. That's all going to be contained in the main hotel record now, and the agreement is going to pull from that information basically. So really, with your general information, now all you have to edit for this is the sponsor. If they are tied to a sponsor, it will automatically pull them in there. And if I was to go back and tie this Super 8 to a sponsor and then come back and edit this, it will automatically update the sponsor for me. So we don't have to worry about that. And another nice thing about this is you'll never have to worry about an agreement for a hotel being tied to an incorrect sponsor. So it's only going to let you do it to ones that it's tied to. Contract, likewise, it's only going to look for contracts for the sponsor that it's tied to. So you're not going to be able to tie it to an incorrect contract or anything like that. It's going to only be available to the contracts that are for their sponsor. Agreement date, by default, it's going to put in today's date or whatever date you create it. But again, you can change it to anything you want just by clicking around here. And then notes. You can add as many notes as you want to this. And these would be things that, can normally you scroll on the side of the agreement form, they need X many stands, they need this, whatever. You can put all of that in the notes and that'll be saved for you there. Agreement verbiage. This works just kind of like the contract verbiage that we looked at last week. So if I edit this verbiage here, I get a blank box here. I have a bunch of replacement keys that I can use that will pop in whatever I asked for here. And I can import verbiage. And I've created spots in the verbiage editor where you can create blank agreement text ones. So we can click plus here, and it's going to pop in just whatever default text I have, and I can change it from here if I want to. So we'll save that, and you'll see it already does pull in all this info with the replacement keys. And then finally, we've got the signature down here. By default, it will pull in the contact person, but since we just created this one, we don't have one. And then it will ask for the signature. So we can capture this here. Just type in my name here. And then you can just sign it. And that will either work using the mouse on the computer right now or just your finger with the tablet, work the same way. So now that we've got all this information here, I can click on View Agreement. And this will generate the PDF of the actual hotel agreement here. And you'll see right here, we've got my verbiage that I pulled in. So any verbiage that I had added was going to go right there. All of my basic hotel information is going to go right over here. And you'll see I don't have certain things because I just created this one. So the phone, fax, email, I don't have any of that yet. So that's something we'll need to add to the hotel record at some point, in addition to all this additional hotel information. But like I said, it pulls those directly from the database of the hotels. So as soon as you add that there, it will automatically populate this in the agreement text. Now from here, you can also email the agreement like we showed before, and that works exactly the same way it did before. You click that, it will save a copy of the agreement and then take you directly to the email page to send that out. All right, so if we go back to the main page here, I want to talk about what some of these functions do on the side. So these ones are finalized up here. They're a little different than the pending ones. So let's look at these first. We've got an edit function right here, so that's exactly how we get back to that page we were just on. We have a view function, and this is just going to pull up the PDF. So if you just want to view the PDF really quickly and see what it looks like. We have the email function, so that does the same thing as the other one. As soon as you click that, it will make a copy of the agreement and then take you right to the messenger. And then this check mark is to finalize them, and I'll add the text in right there. But this will change the status from pending to finalized. So whenever you're ready and you want to change it, you can just click the check mark here. It will ask if you're sure, and you can say yes and finalize. And then you'll see that when I just clicked, it's finalized now right here. Now, if I wanted to, you'll see once you finalize it, you lose your edit capability. You can't edit it anymore. To get around that, though, in case you need to, I added an unlock feature. So you can click to unlock it, and then it will become editable again. Then you can go back in and edit and change anything you want about it. One other nice thing about the finalization function is when you click finalize on an agreement, it will make a copy of that, like a physical copy of that file, and it will store it with the hotel files. So as soon as you're ready, you can click that, and it will save a copy of that agreement as it was on that day when you clicked finalize. So you'll never have to worry about losing stuff like that. And then obviously the last one is just delete if you want to delete one. And we'll delete this one because I know it was a testing one. And there we go, it just updates itself. So those are the hotel agreements. Let's go to the sponsor agreements because they're almost identical here. You'll see the same thing. We've got the date, the sponsor, if it's tied to a contract, and if so, which one, and then the status right here. We'll just click on edit on one of these. So again, you'll notice the same thing. We've got the general information here. We have a little bit more information that we're collecting for the hotels, or I'm sorry, for the sponsors, because there were different things on that form, such as the space charge, the price, the due date, when they're going to send their email or logo, where the ad should go, and then the rep name and the rep cell number. But all of this is just going to be stored with this agreement, and then all the other information for the sponsor, such as the address and their other options, those are going to be stored with the sponsor record, just as the hotels are. Verbiage works the exact same way as the other one. We can edit it, we can pull in some defaults, anything like that. And then the signature also works exactly the same way. We just do capture signature, sign it, and save it. And then we get a copy right there of it. It also has the same functions. We can email the agreement or view the agreement. Works exactly the same way. And then if we go back to this main page, all of these other functions work exactly the same way as they do on the hotel one. So you can edit it, you can view it with this one, you can email it out, you can finalize it, you can unlock it if it is finalized, and then you can just delete it if you want to get rid of them. So that's the basis of the agreements. Let me show you a couple other ways that we can manipulate these, either on a per hotel or per sponsor basis, and then also within the contracts themselves. So let's pull up the hotels, and we'll just use this first one here. Okay, and we've got this agreements tab down here. We had this before, but now I've switched this over to using the format that we're using now. So we've got the agreement dates, the sponsor, the status, and then these different functions right here. So I've made really easy ways for you to go into edit, email, view, and just get rid of these agreements on a hotel basis if you want to. You can also generate a brand new agreement from right here. So if I click that, it's just going to go ahead and generate a brand new one for me. I believe I have to upload this. Yep, there we go. So now we've got a new one that we just generated. All right, so the same thing is going to go for the hotels, or I'm sorry, for the sponsors. Let me pull those up. So again, we've got agreements, we got the date, what the status is, and here's all our actions and a generate new agreement function. So from all of these, you can manipulate the agreements from here. Now, let's take a look at the contracts and how those interact together now, because we have to have agreements for each contract. So let's go in and we're going to edit this one. So I've made a couple changes here. First one, now when we view the sponsor agreements, we're going to see all the agreements that are here. And we can see that we have this agreement right here. It's not tied to a contract, but it's finalized. If I wanted to, I could hit the plus button and tie this one directly to this contract, or I can generate a brand new agreement based on this contract. So let's do that and just see how it works. So if I generate it here, oops, just need to upgrade here. So now we've got a brand new one. This one was made today. It's tied to this contract, and it lets you know right here it's tied to this contract. It's pending, and then here's a bunch of actions that we can do to it. So it's that easy just to generate a brand new agreement for a sponsor that's tied directly to a contract. Addition for the hotels, we still have the agreement thing here. We had this before, but now it will open up and it will show me any agreements that I've got and if they're tied to the contract. So this one does have one that's tied to this contract and it's finalized, and so I can view it or email it from here. Let's see if I can find one that doesn't have one. Nope, that one's tied. It's also tied. Okay, so this one doesn't have one, so we could do the same thing. We could generate a brand new agreement, and then it makes a brand new agreement here that we can go in and we can edit really quickly from here if we wanted to and add more stuff. But you'll see since we had more information about this one, when we view the agreement just off the bat, we've already got a lot more information in it than we did before. All right. So that's the changes that I made to the contracts, or I'm sorry, to the agreements. While we're in the contracts, I also added, you guys asked for this to be able to sign these digitally. So all we have to do is say capture signature, and right here we can clear it. We can sign new ones if we want to and save. But that will automatically pull into the contract when you view the contract as well. All right. I believe that's all of that stuff that I wanted to show you. So we're going to move on now and take a look at the framework that Jake's made. And that is, had it open. Here we go. Okay, so this is what your homepage is going to look like now. Nice thing about this, I'm going to resize my browser and show you. It's going to break itself down to fit into whatever size browser you give it. So if it's on a phone, it's going to look like that. If it's on a large monitor, it's going to look like that. So you're never going to have to worry about this thing looking weird on any kind of device. It should adjust itself to pretty much everything. We have a couple of moving pieces on here. We've got our little quote slideshow up here, and then we've got your hotel slideshow over here. Those are manipulated with a couple of tools in the back end here. Let me pull those up. And those are all the way down at the bottom under website management. So anything that's going to be affecting your public website, we're going to put down here under the website management tools. So first you've got your quote manager, and this one manipulates these quotes that are right in the center here. So all you have to do for this one, and we'll just edit a current one, you enter in the quote text, the attribution, and the location, and that's it. That's all you have to do for these ones. Anything you add into this one will automatically be added into the slideshow on the front page here. And we'll go back here. And we've also got the logo manager. The logo manager will manipulate this section of the home page right here with these logos, and it's just going to slide through whatever logos you upload there. There we go. So let's add a new one here just to show you this. First thing we do is we pick an image, and we can pick anything that we want from here. We'll just use this one. And as soon as you pick it, it automatically uploads it right into there for you. And then you can give it a link if you want. So we can have it go to ESPN.com, for example, and say continue. And now that's in there. And then if we refresh this page, we'll give it a second. It'll be the third one on here. So there's the second one. And there's the new one that we just added. So any logos that you add there, that's just as easy as that to manipulate that. And as soon as you delete it and get rid of it here, continue, now it's gone from the front page too. So that's not going to show up anymore at all. So it's that easy to manipulate it. And you'll also notice as we look at these two different, the home page and the back end, we've got our home page with our our vertical menu here, and we break that down to a vertical one, or a horizontal one, excuse me, on the back end. That's just to give us some more room here. But if you need any changes to that, just let us know. All right, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover today. At this point, really, I'm doing a couple small cleanup things, but pretty much the system is pretty much feature complete now, other than the payment system in the QuickBooks. And like I mentioned on last Monday, I would really like it if you guys tested it out and gave me the go-ahead on everything else before we built that. So like I said, feel free to go at it, add stuff, delete stuff, just mess around with the system and see what you can do. I think really the best thing to do would probably be to, try to go along and do your same process as you're doing it in your current system and in this one, just to see if there's any gaps or anything that you can currently do that this one doesn't have, or any excess information that this has, or anything like that. That'll really give me a better idea of the final steps we need to take to really finalize everything. All right, well, as always, if you have any questions or anything, please just let me know. And yeah, happy testing. Thank you.